The other night on MSNBC, Chris Matthews had two history professors on, very distinguished history professors, to talk about President Obama's place in history as an American president compared to other American presidents and how he'd probably be viewed and ranked. We all know where Chris stood, and both the history professors, I think, gave a very favorable review. I love American history. I'm sure not in the class of these dudes, but let's talk about what we see. Domestically, the president had incredible vision with healthcare. Our healthcare system was broken. We needed a change. Prices were going higher, no matter what anyone says. It was getting really tough, and it just was not working. He forced through a healthcare change, the Obamacare or the ACA, and deserves great credit for his vision and for pushing it through. I give him major credit for that. As to the economy, the president really did not do what had to be done. We needed money. We needed fiscal policy. The president was so busy negotiating with the Republicans as to what we couldn't spend, he didn't see that we needed money. We needed it out there. We needed to get the economy going. We were coming out of an economy that rivaled the Great Depression. We needed real fiscal policy, and what we got was fiscal impotence. He gets really knocked down for that, ranking-wise. Yet you have to give him credit for keeping Ben Bernanke in there as the Fed chairman. We needed a really good Fed chairman. Ben Bernanke was a little slow in coming in with what he needed to do, but as a chief banker, Mr. Bernanke did a great job, as those of you know who have read our JAAC.com or seen some of these blogs. The man stood up and did what had to be done. The president deserves credit for keeping Ben Bernanke in. Unfortunately, he didn't take care of his side with fiscal policy or show any of the vision that he needed to show with the ACA. As to the ACA itself, as great as his vision was, as important as it was that we pushed through healthcare, he totally and absolutely blew it. He blew it. How can you come up with a great idea, put it together, and then not execute? His execution was absolutely horrible. He didn't get it through. The people under him didn't get it through. They sure didn't pay for it, and he doesn't deserve any credit for that, any good credit. He only deserves really bad press for what happened here, and it's still ongoing. It's going to be here for the rest of our lives, I believe, and it's going to work its way through, but no help from the president. Very, very disappointing. In gay rights, the president was not the leader. The president waited. He let the country lead him. Presidents do that. I say, okay, at least when time came, he stood up and did what he had to do, but he was not the leader to make that happen. But he gets an okay grade. Foreign policy. Absolutely blew it. I was a believer that he was going to come in and change things. And he went to Egypt and he spoke to the UN. He got a Nobel Prize a little early, well before it was deserved. But he was going to reset everything. Well, he reset with Russia and used the wrong word for reset when he gave the reset button to the Russians. How apropos. He really tried to pull back with American power, let the world know we were their friend, and tried to deal with UN, the EU, and with thoughts and ideas. Great, I think that's great, but sometimes you got to back it up. Sometimes you got to make it happen. You got to have Iraq, good. He blew Afghanistan. He kept us in there, told us how important it was, and we're walking out with our tail between our legs, having really done not much except send up our drones, take out some Al-Qaeda people in Pakistan, and now Al-Qaeda is all over northern Africa and in the Middle East. He's done nothing in the Middle East. He keeps banging his head against the wall trying to make a deal with the Palestinians and the Israelis. They kind of have an understanding, but what happened in Syria? What's ongoing in Syria? Look at everything that's going on there. Lebanon is starting to turn into a problem. Iran doesn't care about it. Saudi Arabia doesn't trust us. Israel doesn't trust us. He turned his focus to the Asian Pacific area. What has he done there? Really not much. China doesn't care. They're clamping down. They don't care about what happens. And, of course, North Korea, we've all seen what the UN has said about there. The gulag of gulags. Overall, I don't even know if the president gets his C. But it's still too early to call it. He has another 2 years to go. He can really make things happen. Hopefully he will. Hopefully he'll be able to rise above his lame duck status. But as against the other presidents, at least the ones I've lived through, president is right down there with Jimmy Carter. And I was a Jimmy Carter supporter also. So disappointing. Great ideas, unable to put them through. I'd rather have half-decent ideas and put them through than to have great ideas and not put them through, because it raises expectations and then everybody gets bummed. And it's obvious how people in this country feel about where the country is. And that is so much on the president. As head of state, as head of government, he's supposed to lead. He really did not lead us in a good direction. So I would give the president a C. We got 2 more years to go. Always love to hear what you all have to say. Peace. Whoops. Peace.